Hey foodies, welcome and welcome back to Cooking with Kiana. In today's recipe, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this quick and easy, delicious honey garlic pork chop recipe. It is super simple. It'll take you less than 30 minutes and it is absolutely amazing. Now let's get started. So here are all the ingredients that you're going to be needing for this recipe. You can also check the description box below. I will have a full list of ingredients with correct measurements listed there. So first I'm going to start off with the ingredients for the honey garlic sauce. For that you're going to be needing 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of white wine, 4 cloves of garlic, 3 tablespoons of honey, and 4 tablespoons of salted butter. For seasoning, I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of garlic and herb seasoning, 1 teaspoon of ginger powder, 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper seasoning, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning, 1 teaspoon of Lawrys, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning or herbs de Provence. Again, you can find all the ingredients and measurements in the description box below. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take all my seasonings and transfer them into a bowl. I'm doing this that way I can mix all of the seasonings together, and this is just to make sure that seasoning is evenly distributed throughout the pork chop. So now that you have all of the seasonings inside of the bowl, you want to go ahead and give that a good stir until that is well combined. Now go ahead and set that aside so we can get started on our pork chop. So of course you want to make sure you wash off your pork chop, pat that dry, and I'm hitting it with a little bit of oil. And I always like to use oil when I'm seasoning up my meats because it just helps the seasoning better adhere to it. Now you can go ahead and add your seasoning, and I'm going to be seasoning both sides. If you are using 2 or 1 pork chop, obviously you want to scale back on that seasoning. So of course you want to make sure you rub that in well, and once that is rubbed in, we're going to go ahead and flip that over and we're going to repeat the same steps on the other side. Now after you are done seasoning both sides and you have rubbed all of that seasoning in, you can go ahead and let this marinate overnight, but it is not necessary. If you want to, you can cook this right away. So now that we got that all seasoned, it is time to start searing our pork chops. So you want to start off with a little bit of oil in your pan. I'm using vegetable oil because it has a high smoke point. And you want to make sure your fire is on a medium to high heat. Now go ahead and add in your pork chops, and you are going to cook them on each side for about 5 to 6 minutes. The goal is just to make sure it is beautifully seared on the outside and it has that nice golden crust. We're not fully cooking this right now because we are going to be simmering it later. We just want to give it a good sear to lock in that flavor. Now once you are done, you should have a nice golden crust like you see here. And when you do, it is time to remove all your pork chops from your pan. So now we can move on to making our honey garlic sauce. So after we have removed all of our pork chops, we are going to make sure we save all of those bits and drippings and just add about 4 tablespoons of butter to that. Go ahead and let that melt. Once that is melted, you're going to go ahead and add in a tablespoon of cooking wine just to help deglaze that pan so we can scrape up all of the fond that's at the bottom because we all know that is flavor. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go in with my 4 cloves of garlic and just go ahead and let that cook for about a minute. You want to try to add your garlic in last, that way it does not burn, and if it burns it's going to have a bitter taste. You do not want that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and go in with my 3 tablespoons of soy sauce and the 3 tablespoons of honey. Now we're going to go ahead and give that a good stir and let that simmer for about 3 minutes until it starts to thicken up. Once your sauce reaches a slightly thick, syrupy-like consistency, it is time to add in our pork chops. Make sure you space them out so they can cook evenly. Once you have them all in your pan, now we are going to go ahead and baste our pork chops. And this is just going to help infuse it with some of that honey garlic flavor. Making sure you baste it really well in that honey garlic sauce because it's just going to be so good. I'm telling you guys, this sauce is everything. And once we simmer it, it is going to caramelize and it's just going to be so delicious. Okay, so now that we are done basting it, What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop a lid on this and I'm going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes. That way it can cook throughout. After 20 minutes, you're going to go ahead and baste it one last time, and that's going to really infuse all of that honey garlic flavor in your pork chops. As you can see, those pork chops are super juicy, tender, and I just love the caramelization on it. You just know it's filled with a ton of flavor. Now that we went ahead and basted this, let's go ahead and cut into it so you guys can see how the inside looks. That pork chop is super juicy and tender, and the best thing about it is it took less than 30 minutes to make. I hope you guys all enjoy this easy pork chop recipe. If you did, leave a like and a comment below in the comment section letting me know what you think of the recipe, and if you try it, let me know how it came out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next recipe.